it going, guys? Jeremy Dodson here with thedrumprofessor.com. Today we're going to be going over Monster by Skillet, a popular Christian band. A lot of fun. There's a lot of cool fills and beats in here. So let's check it out. We're going to start at 32 seconds. Alright, so to break this down, let's start with the first fill that you hear at about 34 seconds. So that beat broken down is this. So we're going to go bass and both meaning the bass, snare, and hi-hat. So both bass and both and bass. We're going to go bass, snare, snare, bass, snare, snare, bass, bass, snare, snare, bass. Now the first bass is with hi-hat, the second bass is just by itself. Then you're going to do a hi-hat drag. And then crash with the bass. So bass, snare, snare, bass, drag, crash. And you crash with the bass there. So starting with that. Now the next part of the beat, the bass is a driving bass beat. It's going to hit with the snare drum also. Whenever you hit the snare in the main beat for the verse, you also hit the bass drum. So bass and bass, drag, both, drag. You don't change anything with the beat, you just add two drags in. Bass and both and bass, drag, both, drag. Bass and both and bass, drag, both, drag. Speeding that up. Now, whenever you do a drag and then a bass following the drag, so there's no bass with this drag, drag is by itself. If you have a drag by itself followed by a bass drum, your feet are going to go up and down at the same time. They go up and down together. And that'll help you get the timing down just thinking that your feet go up and down together. Okay, so putting this with music, this is what it sounds like. Okay, so this next part of the beat here goes like this. Now, let's play to that point real quick. So it's a heavy hi-hat, meaning the hi-hats are cracked, and it's a quarter note beat, so it's no longer, it's quarter note instead of eighth note. So it's bass, snare, that bass is by itself. Bass, bass, flam, bass, flam, bass, snare. Now, so you do flam, bass, and then a snare and heavy hi-hat here. Now, once you do that, here's what's next. You do bass, crash, and the crash has a bass also, so it's bass, bass. Bass, bass. So putting this together. The chorus. So putting this together with music. Okay, so this next section, once you do this, that crash starts the next beat in the chorus. It's going to go like this. So the beat's going to go bass and snare and this is all on my crash cymbal. Bass and snare and bass, bass, snare, bass, bass. So bass and snare and bass, bass, snare, bass, bass. Now you just repeat that again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So fourth measure, you're going to crash with the snare. So 4. You're going to do 4 times. Crash with the snare, and then high, mid, floor, crash with the bass. Okay, now this last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So fourth measure is going to be a little different. You crash on crash 1. So bass and snare and bass, bass, snare and. Let's listen to that. Now after you do that, bass, bass, snare, bass, 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 snare, bass, 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 snare. Now anytime you have a bass after the snare drum, you do a prep stroke, which means you raise your foot as your hand comes down to hit the snare drum. If you wait until the snare drum hits to raise your foot, you're going to be late. So it has to be bass, bass, up, bass, 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 up. You notice when my hand came down, starts to come down, my foot goes up. Okay? So case, we're going to do a pickup note with the bass drum, which means we're going to go. So we're going to do 3 from the very beginning of this beat instead of 2. Normally when you do this beat, you do bass, bass, snare, bass, 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 snare. But we're going to add 1 bass and do 3 basses every single time, including the first one. So again. Okay, so once we do that, we add a couple crashes on the snare drum, and then we do a drag, and then or a heavy hi-hat, and then a crash with the bass. So. Fifth and sixth measure, you could think of it as 5th and 6th snare drum. Then you crash on those, and then you go up to 8. Once you do 8, you do the drag and crash. So putting this all together with music, this is what we got. What comes next, including the fill there in another lesson. So I hope this really helped you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And also, if you like this video and you would like to learn more and do a live one-on-one jam session with me, feel free to let me know. Go to my website, thedrumprofessor.com, sign up for a free jam session. Be a lot of fun. I'd love to see where you're at and how to get you and show you how to get to the next level in 1 month. So take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.